Harare, Robert Mugabe, who has ruled Zimbabwe since independence in 1980, resigned as president Tuesday shortly after lawmakers began impeachment proceedings against him, according to the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker read out a letter in which Mugabe said he was stepping down with immediate effect for the welfare of the people of Zimbabwe and the need for a peaceful transfer of power. A Monday deadline imposed on Zimbabwe President Robert Mugabe to resign by his own ruling party passes with no word from the embattled leader. British police ended an armed hostage siege after a gunman took 2 staff members hostage at a bowling alley in a leisure complex in central England. He is set to travel to Myanmar, where 620,000 refugees have fled from, and is being warned not to use the term Rohingya. A small plane makes an emergency landing at the street. Mary's County Regional Airport in Maryland, USA. People who tuned into the Weather Channel to watch the Georgia Dome, home of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, being demolished in Atlanta, Georgia got a rude surprise when a bus blocked their view. Several star names expected to attend will be absent from Victoria's Secret's first ever fashion show in China. The Justice Department will sue to block AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner, a source says. US President Donald Trump has said NFL players should be fired for kneeling during the anthem. CNN. A Monday deadline imposed on Zimbabwe President Robert Mugabe to resign by his own ruling party passes with no word from the embattled leader. Lawmakers erupted into cheers, and jubilant residents poured into the streets of Harare, the capital. It seemed to be an abrupt capitulation for Mugabe, 93. The world's oldest head of state and one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. It's the best thing that's ever happened to Zimbabwe, Perseverance Sand, 20, said in central Harare just minutes after news of Mugabe's resignation began spreading and crowds of people started singing around her. I have been waiting so long for this moment. Mugabe, who once proclaimed that only God will remove me, had refused to step down even after being expelled Sunday from ZANU-PF, the political party he had led for decades. Then on Tuesday, members of ZANU-PF introduced a motion of impeachment, invoking a constitutional process that had never before been tested. The party's historical political rival, the Movement for Democratic Change, seconded the motion, a striking sign of the consensus in the political class that Mugabe must go, one that formed with astonishing speed after the military took Mugabe into custody last Wednesday, signaling an end to his 37-year rule. Get the latest news and updates emailed straight to your inbox. By submitting your email you are agreeing to Fairfax Media's terms and conditions and privacy policy. Debate on the impeachment motion had begun when the Speaker suddenly interrupted the proceedings to read what he said was a letter of resignation delivered by Mugabe's representatives. In Africa Unity Square, the capital's main public area, scattered shouts were heard just a few minutes after the announcement by the Speaker. Then, as word began spreading by mouth and by phone, the shouts, cries and honking of cars rose in a deafening crescendo.